We're going to start in 2 minutes. I'll just run through who we'll have speaking this morning. 2-minute warning. From FEMA, we'll have Associate Administrator for Response and Recovery, Jeff Byard. From NOAA, FEMA's liaison, Ken Wadowski. From the U.S. Coast Guard, we'll have Kenesha Scott. And from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, we'll have Paige Caldwell. And we'll have a Spanish language update from FEMA spokesman Daniel Yargis, and we will have time for Q&A. So we'll start in approximately 2 minutes. Well, yeah, we'll snag it after. We normally do, but today we spun up pretty quickly, so we'll make sure we have to come.
So I got Kavanaugh going in. I didn't see him. I knew it was his SUV. And they haul and there were protesters here on storage. They said, he's interested in I'm not going to make that. I was in the backside.
Still saves a lot of time.
That's not like a fart.
You get cameras that help the servers a little shorter. They do? Oh, good. We are. This is not the next week.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This will be the whole community update on response and preparation for Hurricane Michael. My name is Jenny Burke with FEMA Public Affairs. This morning we will have an update from Associate Administrator for Response and Recovery, Jeff Byard. We'll have a weather update from NOAA, Ken Wadowski. From the U.S. Coast Guard, Kenesha Scott. From the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Paige Caldwell. We will have a Spanish language update from Daniel Yargis. And after brief remarks, we will open up for Q&A. At this time, I will turn it over to Ken Wadowski for the weather update.
And good morning, everyone. Hurricane Michael was upgraded to a Category 2 hurricane as of earlier this morning. Max sustained winds are now at 100 miles an hour. The storm is likely to strengthen to a Category 3 over the next 12 to 24 hours. So that is major hurricane status. It will be moving up into the Florida Big Bend area, likely during the day on Wednesday. Landfall expected around midday or into the afternoon hours. Main threats with this storm will see destructive winds, especially right along coastal areas, likely over 100 miles per hour. Storm surge will produce significant impacts, particularly in the Florida Big Bend region. Upwards of 8 to 12-foot storm surge is expected. So there could be some significant low-lying flooding in coastal areas. Then the storm will quickly move up through Georgia, expecting some damaging winds up across the state of Georgia, down trees, power lines, and power outages. And then up across the Carolinas by Thursday into Friday, we'll see additional heavy rainfall in North Carolina, where they had recently experienced flooding from Florence. There could be some locally significant flooding, but fortunately this time the storm is not expected to stall. It will be moving rather quickly and then out to sea off the southern New England coast by Friday. And then in addition, we will see a threat for some tornadoes over the southeastern United States with the track of Michael. Again, this beginning late tonight and in through the day on Thursday. The next weather update officially from the National Hurricane Center will come in at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. That is all from NOAA. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank Thank you, Ken. Good morning. I appreciate everyone being here today. I appreciate the team helping us get the message out for our state and local partners. The time to evacuate and heed the local warnings is now. As Ken just alluded to, Hurricane Michael is going to be a devastating storm to a part of Florida that has not seen a storm of this magnitude in quite some time. We at FEMA, we are activated at our Regional Response Coordination Center in Atlanta. We have activated our National Response Coordination Center here in D.C. We have teams that are now embedded with the state of Florida, Georgia, and surrounding states. We are in good communications with our state partners. We have no limiting factors. We have plenty of commodities on hand to fill gaps that may present themselves with this storm. I do want to set expectations for our citizens. You will see damage to infrastructure. You will see power outages, and services that we're normally used to will be interrupted as a result of Hurricane Michael. The time to prepare is now. Please, we want to reemphasize to heed those local warnings as they know best for our citizens and our visitors of the Florida Gulf Coast. Our priority is going to be on life saving, but our effort is going to be stabilization of our critical lifelines, power and security, food, water, and sheltering, health and medical, energy, both power and fuel, communications, transportation, and hazardous waste. We will have a unity of effort across the federal family, across our state and local family to make sure that we rapidly stabilize those critical lifelines. Again, I do want to set those expectations. This is not going to be a stabilization that will occur in days. It will take us some time, but we have great partners on the ground, both in Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, and all the way up into the Carolinas. I want to make sure that our citizens know they can go to the FEMA website, download the ready.gov, or go to ready.gov and download the FEMA app if you have any questions on what preparedness actions need to take place. But the main thing that we ask you to do, we ask our teammates here in the media and our teammates that are citizens to do at this time, is to evacuate if asked to do so. That is the most important role you can play to protect not yourself, but also to protect the lives of our first responders. We ask that you do not put our first responders in harm's way if they have to come and try to rescue you and you've been asked to evacuate. Thank you very much, and at this time I'll turn it over to our Coast Guard partners.
Thank you and good morning. We urge everyone in Hurricane Michael's path to be ready to shelter in place, stay off the water, stay clear of beaches, and heed all safety messages and evacuation orders from state and local authorities. Social media is great for resources to follow updates, but do not use social media to report emergencies. Please call 911 or use VHF Channel 16. Our priorities are the safety of our responders, their families, and the public. Once the storm has passed, hazards may still be present. Stay in a safe location while the Coast Guard and other state and local authorities assess damages and disperse additional resources. Thank you.
Good morning. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers South Atlantic Division is coordinating closely with FEMA Region 4, and of course we're coordinating closely here in D.C. To provide any support that is required. Thank you.
Hola, buenos días. Soy Daniel Yarguez de FEMA, portavoz de FEMA. Queremos informarles que esperamos que esta tormenta sea de gran magnitud y que traiga fuertes vientos. Como lo dijo nuestro socio del Servicio Nacional de Meteorología, se esperan vientos de hasta 100 millas por hora, que se alcance una categoría de 3. Esto es una tormenta de gran magnitud. Entonces, las recomendaciones que les damos, por favor, hagan caso y acaten a las órdenes de sus autoridades locales, ya que si tienen que evacuar, si tienen que irse de esa área, por favor háganlo. También se espera que la marejada ciclónica alcance en unos lugares hasta 12 pies, entonces va a traer también muchísima lluvia, agua y olas muy fuertes. Conocer esas rutas de evacuación es importante. Como lo dijo el administrador asociado Jeff Bayer, que por favor también descarguen la aplicación de FEMA, ya que pueden obtener información de refugio si necesitan ir a un refugio, y también alertas de las condiciones del tiempo del Servicio Nacional de Meteorología. Es el momento para hacerlo. Podemos hacerlo hoy, ya que se espera que esta tormenta tormenta toque tierra para mañana, alrededor del mediodía. Entonces, por favor, hagan caso a eso y descarguen la aplicación para recibir esta información. Nosotros aquí en FEMA estamos trabajando con nuestros socios en Florida, en Alabama, en Georgia. Ya tenemos equipos de FEMA desplazados en estos centros de operaciones para poder apoyar y ayudar en las necesidades que puedan tener. También nuestras oficinas aquí en FEMA tenemos equipos y ya estamos activados al 100% para poder apoyar las necesidades que se puedan dar. Tenemos también suministros a la mano para poder apoyar las necesidades de los estados impactados. Y también les pedimos que esperen interrupción de servicios de agua, de electricidad, de gas, porque bueno, esta tormenta trae muchos vientos, agua, manejada ciclónica, y lo importante en este momento es evacuar, acatar esas órdenes de evacuación y descargar la aplicación de FEMA para recibir información de lo que está sucediendo. Gracias. Thank you.
I'm going to open it up for Q&A.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk a little bit about any sites that might be in the hurricane's path that have you concerned or preparing in any way? I know in North Carolina with Florence, there were some sites that were nuclear power plants that were of concern. Is there anything similar with this storm?
You know, our main concern now is the safety of the citizens, and we urge that anybody that needs to evacuate, evacuate. Obviously, we'll continue to assess as the storm gets closer to landfall. It's a large, area that's currently under a hurricane surge warning. So we'll continue to monitor all that and then, obviously be ready to support our local and state efforts. But our main concern now is just the evacuation of our citizens that are in danger. Yes, ma'am.
Has preparing for this storm been different than, say, a Hurricane Florence, where we had a lot more of, a preview as to what was to come, as in with this one, it's really just kind of popped up pretty suddenly?
Every storm's different. This is just a great illustration of that. I wish every storm was the same and we could prepare the same way. Obviously, there's benefits to having more time because you have more time to warn our citizens of the danger. Also with this one, though, you also have limited time, which causes you to act more decisive, which is good. And I believe we're doing that very, very well. We've been monitoring the storm or the disturbance, for a couple of days, but you're right, this rapidly intensifying storm always presents a challenge. But, the state of Florida obviously is no stranger to hurricanes. The Gulf Coast is no stranger to hurricanes. We have some of the best emergency managers in the nation that are prepared for this. We have some of the best first responders in the nation prepared for this. The Florida National Guard is one of the top guards that we have in our nation. And our states surrounding there are ready to support. So when you put the whole family together, whether it's 4 days or a couple of days, we're prepared and we're ready for whatever Michael may throw our way. Yes, sir.
Hi, Jeff. Greg Wallace from CNN. With Florence, a few weeks ago, we saw a lot of flooding. Can you tell us what to expect with this storm and what the challenges to reestablishing those lifelines will be?
So, again, looking at a crystal ball that may not, hopefully we're wrong, but with this storm, what I would say you're going to see a traditional powerful hurricane strike, very fast moving, high surge, and very, very powerful winds. So you'll see more power outages, and probably the damage to the power infrastructure is going to be more significant than Florence because it will be down power lines and poles. So it will take a little more time to restore. But again, Florida Power and Light and the other crews that are coming in are very, very adept to doing that. You're going to see more localized impact with the surge, where you saw a lot more inland, miles and miles inland flooding with Florence. I would have to say this, the states of Georgia and Alabama, obviously need to be prepared. Some of the hurricane force winds are going to go well inland, well into the state of Georgia if it continues on the current track. So you're going to see a lot of debris. You're going to see a lot of power outages. With power outages, everything then becomes compounded. Our wastewater and water treatment plants are now affected. Our supply chains are affected. So we're really focused in on that. We're coordinating not just at the government level, but at the private sector level, so we can quickly and rapidly stabilize that. But it will take some time. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
Is there any way you can reiterate, Counselor, what you said in Spanish? Because our company Telemundo is recording it. If you can reiterate basically what...
Yes. Sure.
Thanks.
¿Algo en específico de que...?
No, en total lo que dijo el señor, lo lo que va a pasar por Georgia y los vientos y que no va a haber luz por un rato y que va a ser más fuerte que el flow.
Bueno, cada tormenta es diferente. Esperamos que esta tormenta traiga vientos de hasta 100 millas por hora, que pasen las 100 millas por hora. Entonces, también les pedimos a las personas que tengan mucha precaución con la manejada ciclónica. En lugares se espera que llegue hasta 12 pies estas olas. Entonces, poner atención a las autoridades locales es súper importante, ya que pues si hay que evacuar o si tenemos que salir del área donde vivimos porque es peligroso, hagámoslo. Cada tormenta es diferente, pero continuamos vigilando esta tormenta muy de cerca para poder informar. Nosotros ya estamos aquí listos en FEMA para apoyar a nuestros socios estatales, también con la familia federal, como lo vimos el Cuerpo de Ingenieros, Servicio Nacional de Meteorología, para poder tener actualizaciones y poder informar. Pero les pedimos que pongan mucha atención a las autoridades locales, ya que si tienen que evacuar hay que hacerlo inmediatamente.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Are there any specific numbers of how many people have been deployed to the area, or what kinds of resources are already there?
So, from the federal perspective, we already have a large contingency that's in Florida from Hurricane Irma. So, we're going to utilize a lot of the staff that we have in place now, but we have sent our National Incident Management Assistance Team is on the way. Our Regional Incident Management Assistant Team is already at the Florida EOC. We have a pre-designated federal coordinating officer that's already at the Florida EOC, as well as other staff. We have our Urban Search and Rescue Network all on alert. We have teams that are currently in Atlanta ready to push out. As far as commodities, our stopgap commodities, which are not intended to be the primary source of food and water, but they are just as what we say a gap measure. We have adequate commodities on hand in Atlanta, and we can push those anywhere in the Panhandle. So we feel like we're very prepared for Michael, and again, we're supporting a extremely capable state in the state of Florida and the surrounding states. Any other questions? Well, Rick, in closing, I want to thank the media. You are our biggest voice at this time to get the message out to the citizens. I urge, again, our citizens on the Gulf Coast to take precautions. If you are under an evacuation order, please evacuate. And, our thoughts and prayers will go out for everybody affected by Hurricane Michael. Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us today. As a reminder, if you haven't already done so, download the FEMA app to get up-to-date information from FEMA. And we do plan on having a telephonic update today at 3:15, and again, another press brief tomorrow morning at 9:15. Thank you.